Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to the video of my current training split. Now this is going to be a series guys, so just be prepared. It's going to be a 4-part series is what I'm thinking. So it's just the lowdown basically on the who, what, when, where, how, and why of why I train the way that I currently do. Now I'm stressing the way that I currently do because this is the way that I'm training right now after trial and error of many different training splits, and I just find this to be right now what works for me the best. With that said guys, nothing is written in stone, so I may decide to change up exercises of course, and you'll see I have a bunch of different exercises I kind of go back and forth from, with having a main exercise though in general. But also keep in mind that my workout split might change. Right now, like the order is pull, legs, push, but you know, I'm ever learning, ever trying to get better, so this may not be the same in the future, but this is just a breakdown of what I do right now, and I find it's working pretty well. So basically, why should you even bother watching this YouTube series? Now, first of all, if you're still here, thank you. And this is what you're going to get from it, plus more. Guys, I've made so many mistakes, they're not truly mistakes in a sense, because life is all about trial and error, and it's about trying to figure out through quote-unquote mistakes. I guess you can call them mistakes, but they're not failures, because failure is really only when you give up. You can make mistakes, but you just got to learn from them, right? So I've been training honestly consistently with weights, guys, for more than 10 years. And even before that, I was training honestly like kind of like inconsistently with just weights that I have at home. I swear all of us have had those weights that are like those bronze kind of outer coating and that white kind of chalky substance inside. Like we've all owned those weights, I'm pretty confident to say. Guys, so many years of experience in terms of just trying so many different splits. Like I've done bro splits. I've trained 7 days a week, maybe not like super consistently, like week after week. I train muscles when they're sore. I've done like push pull legs off push pull legs, which is not what this is, because I only do 3 days of weights a week. And really just, you know, I've been prioritizing recovery a lot more, so that's kind of like a huge component of why this workout split is in my life right now. So yeah, this seems to be the one that's working right now for me. And we're just gonna kind of go with this. So, on the other thing, guys, I'm a lifetime natty. If you think I'm not natural, then thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. But just keep in mind that this hopefully, like, I mean, not hopefully, but I'm assuming most of you that are watching this are probably going to be natural. So it's kind of nice to get advice from somebody that's like experiencing similar things as you. Because when you're on the sauce, I just find that your recovery is going to be like a lot better. But keep in mind, genetics also play a role. So what I say may not apply directly to you. It may be, in fact, a little bit different. So just keep that in mind. So these are some of the stuff that we're going to cover, guys, and I'm going to of course expand on all this information. So we're going to talk about honestly stuff that really, it's really important that you guys realize that the stuff builds on each other. So please don't just skip to the other 3 parts of the series to where I actually break down the exercises, because this video, the first one, is actually really important to kind of set the stage for those other videos and make them kind of make sense. So just keep in mind all the stuff builds on each other, and it's really important to break stuff down, because we're going to dive a little deeper than just a workout split in terms of exercises. We're going to talk about like the reason why I train, like the thought that goes behind all this stuff, because like I said, guys, that's really important. It's really important for just overall long-term commitment to any workout split. And you got to have a vision, guys. If you don't have a vision, you're not going to know where to go. And you don't have to have everything written out in stone, super detailed, knowing exactly what you want to do, but you should have a rough idea of what you want to do. And over time, as you do, you're going to learn, you're going to improve, and then you're going to change your goals. But your purpose, your vision should stay the same. Like I said, the details don't have to remain the same. So guys, why do I even like work out. And this, like I said, is the vision. So my vision is plain and simple. I want to look as best as I can look as possible. And that is really just like a jacked physique, nice and lean, injury free, and strong. As simple as it is, plain and simple, that's what I want. Now, I'm not a pro bodybuilder, I'm not a powerlifter, I'm not strength training, I'm not a strongman, I'm not any of that stuff. I'm not training for a sport. I'm training for those reasons that I just stated. But it's really important that I also have longevity. So a really big part of this is recovery and therefore minimizing injuries. And the other part of this is, guys, I don't know about you, but a lot of the times that I go to the gym, honestly, it's mental therapy for me. You're like letting out your stress on the weights, right? So I need to do stuff that I like, because like, I'm just saying this straight up right now. Guys, you don't have to do an exercise just because someone tells you to do it, and that includes me. I'm just giving my recommendations, and honestly, it's not even recommendations. I'm more so just telling you guys literally just what I'm doing right now, and I think it works effectively for me. So like, why wouldn't you try it, or why wouldn't you consider some variation of it? But anyways, I'm doing stuff that I like. You guys may not like everything, so change it up, because if you don't, you are not gonna stick with this. Bam. Those are some pictures of me, guys. So just to show you what we're working with. And this is actually like older pictures. It's about 2 years old on the right, and I believe the one on the left is 3 years old. So, you know, why am I showing you guys old pictures? Well, the reason is because I'm really lean in these pictures, and I haven't been this lean for the past couple years, because the latest one is that one on the right. And I just want to show you guys lean pictures, because then you can actually see the muscle. But the one thing that I can confidently say is that I'm much bigger. Now, I'm not 50 pounds heavier, because keep in mind, I am natural, but I am much bigger in these photos, than these photos currently. I'm not quite as lean, but hopefully you guys are following me on my shorts series, Eating for Fat Loss. I'm currently cutting down to get lean again. Kind of like these pictures. That's what I'm shooting for again, like a nice lean physique. Jawline showing, face is all chiseled, cheeks sunken in, but not too sunken in. And just abs nice and clearly defined, good defined, everything really. I don't know if you guys see those striations on the tricep inner head on that left picture. Oh yeah, baby. Some gains right there. So yeah, this is kind of like what we're working with. The interesting thing about this is that later in the future, like when I finish my series and I get to the point of leanness that I want to get to, which is about this, I'm going to be able to look back and compare these pictures and see how much muscle I've actually put on, because it's really only comparable once you actually get to the same level of leanness, because otherwise it's going to be like a pretty big discrepancy as far as like how much muscle you actually put on. So you have to do comparisons when you're at like similar body fats to be able to actually see a difference and tell if you've made any gains. And I've definitely made gains for sure, because I've been getting stronger. I look bigger. I see like the change in the muscle shape that I've never seen before, even at these higher body fats. So I know for sure that I made gains. So all that to say, this is what I look like, guys. I've got some gains. Keep in mind I'm natural. If you think I'm not, thank you. But yeah, I am a lot more developed now than this, and hopefully you guys will stick around and you guys can see in the future when I get lean again what I look like and how much progress I've made. So I kind of basically already covered what I want to look like. You guys can take a read on the slide, but basically, like, there's two kind of thoughts, and this really kind of depends on what you're looking for. The one thought is that, you know, if you train every muscle group the same, because of your genetics, certain muscle groups will respond, sorry guys, I'm stuttering like crazy, will respond better. And these are because you're genetically built to look, in a sense, a certain way. Now, what you can do is, if you want everything to be completely balanced, now it really depends what muscle group is being overstimulated in the sense of like good genetics. You might be like, I don't want this muscle group to be a standout body part. I really want to bring up like another area. So you're going to focus your efforts on that other area. Or what you could do, which I originally honestly was in the first boat. Now I'm in the second boat, where I want to have a standout body part. And guys, no matter what you do, genetics are such a big factor of working out and how you look. If you're going to have a genetic standout body part, you might as well just be proud of it. And for me, that's traps and shoulders. So I used to decrease the amount of exercises I would do for traps, but now I train my traps just as much as any other muscle group, because I'm like, you know what? I just want it to stand out. I just want, that's like the blueprint of what my body was supposed to look like in a sense, like the proportion wise. So, that's what I want. I want some big traps. So that's kind of what I suggest, having a nice standout body part, because we're all unique in that sense, and just be proud of what you have. But with that said, like, let's face it, we all want big chest, shoulders, and arms, and that's me included. And if you don't agree and you're a guy, then you're probably lying. But let's face it, no chicken legs here, no underdeveloped back. The cool thing about working out is like, yeah, like obviously we're comparing ourselves to ourselves in terms of like progression, but we're also comparing ourselves to each other, guys, and like that's just a fact of life. We don't just compete with ourselves, we also compete with each other. And when you're at the gym and you're trying to size up another guy and trying to see, does this guy actually take like lifting seriously? Is he actually like jacked, or is he just kind of like every other gym bro in the sense of he just has like a good chest, good arms, good shoulders kind of thing? I kind of have this sense where like, now I have like, I'm not saying I have the best back in the world or the best legs, but I definitely have balance in my physique. So sorry, I got a burp here. So like having nice back and legs is almost like a secret weapon in your back pocket, because like you can kind of max out if you train a ton your arms, your chest, and your shoulders, but you can't necessarily cheat having a good back and legs, because your back takes so much effort to build. There's so many different areas of your back to build. So you really have to, one, know what you're doing, and also be consistent, just like any other like muscle group. But you also have to like hit your back at so many different angles, and same with your legs to have your legs developed. And so like those are almost like a pride thing in the sense of like, it's a secret weapon in your back pocket when you're like, if the guy doesn't have a good back, then you're kind of like, he doesn't really take this lifting thing seriously. Like he's just another gym bro that just trains chest, shoulders, and arms. So it's just kind of the secret little weapon that you have, like having a good back and legs. So I want overall balance, guys, but I do want whatever my genetic standout body part is to just shine. And I just want to kind of look like how I was supposed to, quote unquote, kind of look. All right. So we're kind of just like rolling through this. So we started out with our vision, guys, and then we figured out like what you want to look like. So we know why we want to work out, we know what we want to look like, so now we got to pick exercises that allow us to look like that. Now I want balance, so I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to work every single muscle group. And then you let your genetics kind of take over in terms of like what is going to be your standout body part. When you're picking exercises, guys, the goal is really to focus on compound movements that you're going to progress with over time. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean just weights, but if you get stronger, you're going to be able to lift more weights. But you should also be able to do more reps with the same weight, which then within your rep range, you can then increase the weight and drop back down into the lower end of your rep range. Also, better control. Controlling the weights a lot better means that you're stronger. That can be a deeper range of motion, controlling the eccentric more, having a pause in your rep on certain exercises depending, having a pause either in the stretch position or in the flex position, and also just less rest time between sets potentially. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this all the time, but if you were to be in a pre-exhausted state, essentially you would be pushing the same or more weight over time than you would fully rested. So that just goes to show that your average strength has increased. So that's what I mean. Just try to get stronger over time, guys, because a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle. Now, if you're strength training, like, you don't have to be the strongest guy in the gym, because it's not all about the weight, because you want to perform technique is everything. You want to perform the exercise in a certain form, and then you want to get as strong as possible with that form. So the exercises right now that I'm really focusing on for my pull day is pull-ups. It's also pull-downs, but like I do warm up with pull downs, and I find that like that allows my lats to properly warm up, because I find it kind of hard to warm up with pull-ups properly. So I just do like a nice top set of pull downs, and then I get into my pull-ups, and I'm really trying to focus on increasing the strength of the vertical pulling, but specifically, like I said, the pull-ups. And that all has a reason, right? And I'll kind of go into that more on my actual pull day, but it has to do with me wanting to increase my back width. Legs, guys, since you have the front of your legs and the back of your legs, now obviously I could say for pull day I'm also trying to improve on my rows, which is also true. I'm technically trying to improve on everything, but really I'm trying to focus on the width, and that's where I put most of my effort for my pull days. And once I get super wide, maybe it'll switch to focusing on really trying to develop a certain area of thickness in my back. So that's why I said this is my current training routine. It's not everything that I'm going to be doing forever and ever. So anyways, for my leg day, guys, I'm really trying to push big weights on the hack squat. Like squat variations are good, but I find that you should just stick with one for a little bit for your main workouts consistently, and really try to track progress over time. And that really kind of goes for everything. You kind of want to see how strong you're getting. And if you're constantly changing things up, it's kind of hard to track progress. Not that you can't do that, because honestly, guys, if you were pushing yourself hard and doing different workouts all the time, it's better than not working out at all. Like, some people get this twisted and they get way too specific about how they train, and like they get way too sciencey about how they train. And it's like, listen, guys, if you went into the gym, you did like full body twice a week, and you just did one exercise per muscle group, and you push yourself to failure, that's better than the guy sitting at home on the couch eating potato chips and not even going to the gym at all because they're too worried about having the perfect workout routine. So just keep that in mind, right? But the more that you get into the stuff, the more that you want to improve it, right? So I'm at the point, like I said, 10 plus years of training. I really want to like refine my training, because I'm not really at that point where I have to like contemplate going to the gym. I love going to the gym, guys. Like, if I don't go to the gym, like, it's part of my identity. So like, I feel like there's something missing if I don't go. So I'm more at the phase where I'm trying to refine things, optimize, and try to figure out the best way to make the most results in the time that I'm at the gym, to make my time the most effective and optimal, and just be a more efficient human being. And anyway, so now to push, guys, I'm doing dumbbell incline press as my main progressive overload movement. Because whoever got injured using dumbbells, but when you use barbells, people get injured all the time. And I'm doing more of an incline, because I just find that obviously you guys have heard this like a million times, like anybody that ever talks about chest, they always say, oh, focus on the upper chest, focus on the, the incline movements. And it is true. Unless you have a very good upper chest, which most of us don't. Most of us have a better responsive lower chest. So therefore, we should spend more time on the incline pressing. They kind of say also, when you do incline presses, you tend to work most of your chest anyways. So you can honestly probably get away with doing everything incline. But however, I do think it's still good to do some flat and some decline movements every once in a while too. So guys, basically what I've developed is something that I refer to now as my mastermind plan. And basically what this is like a main workout for pull, main workout for legs, main workout for push. It's the mastermind perfect plan. It's fully balanced. It trains everything that I want to focus on. And really, it's also not just stuff that I want to focus on, but it's also just fully balanced to train everything that needs to get targeted. But like we'll cover later in these like series and even in this video, is that you can variate from this master plan, because you can't always do the same stuff over and over, because you're going to get bored. If you get bored, you're not going to look forward to the gym. If you don't look forward to the gym, you're not going to go. So we don't want that. So we want to have our master plan, but we can deviate and we can have a little fun sometimes. And even this mastermind plan, it's not necessarily perfect. Like, it's balanced, but like, guys, don't take this too seriously. You can change things up. All right, so what kind of style of training do I actually do? I'm a low volume, high intensity guy. It seems to be the thing that's trendy right now, but honestly, I think it's great because you can build a lot of muscle, you can build a lot of strength at the same time, and you can recover properly. So that's really important for me, especially being natural. I just find that your recovery is not as good as somebody that's taking sauce. So you definitely need to give yourself a little bit of extra time to work in the recovery. So typically what I focus on, guys, and this is crucial because I'm really just going to go over this once in detail and then I'll just kind of touch on it in the other videos, but I am a top set to failure style. So I will warm up appropriately, and honestly, at the beginning of your workout, you may need to warm up more. Obviously, like not you may, you do need to warm up more than mid-workout and end workout for the new exercise. So if I'm on exercise number, like 3 for back, I don't have to do as many warm-up sets as compared to exercise 1 because my back is completely like cold in a sense, right? Like it's not been warmed up at all. So I'd warm up appropriately, guys, and then I just rip a top set within 8 to 12 reps. And sometimes it's more if you miscalculate, or sometimes less if you miscalculate the amount of weight that you should be using. But give or take about 8 to 12 reps. Sometimes in the fine print, I'll throw this in there. I do throw in sometimes a couple of partials, so that's technically beyond failure, but typically it's just a failure. And then what I'll either do is do a drop set after about 10 to 15 seconds rest, where I shoot for about 5 to 10 reps, so about half the amount of reps, but I only drop the weight slightly, and that's to still push a good amount of heavy weight, but lighten the load so the form's still good, but not worry about as many reps. And that's really just add a couple of extra reps in. And by a couple of extra, I mean like 5 to 10. And this is to failure again. Maybe not always, but typically to failure. So it's almost like you're having 2 moments of failure and you're adding extra volume with the drop set. If I don't do the drop set, sometimes I'll do a back off set. So I'll rest until I feel fully recovered, and then I'll do a back off set where I'll lighten the weight, and then I'll shoot for another 8 to 12 reps to failure. So it's still a good amount of weight that I'm using because you rest enough, and then also it's just you've only done 1 top set, so you still have a decent amount of strength. But I don't always do this because I find, honestly, when you rip a good top set, guys, like you don't honestly have much left in the tank, and like you don't really need to do much more left for that exercise. So frequently I've been just doing the drop set, not so much the back off set. And then let's talk about controlling your reps. Guys, this is so important. I've been doing this workout routine for the past, I would say, month and a half, right? Like not super new, but I've been doing a big change in my workouts where I'm controlling the reps. Guys, I'm actually making the muscle that's supposed to work do the work. And when I first did this, I really had to check my ego at the door. I ended up lifting such light weights at the beginning, guys, and still relative to what I could do if I didn't do this style, I'm lifting quite a bit lighter. But I find that when you first do this kind of form switch, because we're typically used to lifting a little bit more like with some slack and not letting the muscle that's supposed to be working do all the work, and a little bit of cheap reps kind of like for every rep. So when you drop the weight, when you switch to this form, initially you have to drop the weight quite a bit because you'll find, especially for like pressing, that your chest is actually pretty weak. Because a lot of guys have a big bench, but they have a small chest, guys, because they're pressing mostly with their shoulders and triceps and a little bit of chest. So when they switch to this form, they're significantly weaker until they first start to build up, first of all, the neural patterns of that new control, and then also until they start building up actual chest strength in their pressing, because they're not used to using that much chest, because they're just kind of like their looser reps and less controlled are involving a lot of other muscles that shouldn't technically be involved in a sense, right? So especially controlling that negative, that eccentric versus the flexing position up to the positive motion, which is the concentric. But you want to control it all, but especially that negative, because you're the strongest in the negative. So if you can get close to failure also in the negative, and you can maybe to hit failure in the negative, you do a couple of cheat reps on the concentric with safety, then you can get more out of your exercise and more out of your top set and more muscle growth as a result. So switching the control, what I was trying to say, guys, is basically like I've been lifting weights for like I said, like over a decade, right? And I switched to controlling the reps now for a year. And guys, I'm actually shocked at the amount of muscle that I've gained. Keep in mind, it's not like boatloads of muscle because I am natural and I have been training for a decade, but to have made the results that I've made in this past year just from switching up the form, And I'm talking everything, not just my chest, like everything. It's actually like absolutely incredible. It for sure is the way to go when you're trying to build muscle. You gotta check your ego at the door and you gotta control your reps, guys. And over time, you build up strength with the type of form that you're using. So you're still always getting stronger, but you gotta check your ego at the door because you're not gonna be able to lift as much weight controlling the reps. But it does not matter. Nobody's looking at you in the gym. Nobody knows when they see you out in public if you can press 70-pound dumbbells or if you can press 50-pound dumbbells or if you can press 100-pound dumbbells. Nobody knows if you PR'd and did an extra tick on the chest machine to add the weight. They don't know if you added an extra 2 or an extra 3. They just see if you have a big chest or not, guys. They see if you got big legs. They don't know if you squatted 3 plates or if you squatted 2 plates or how you squatted it. They just see if you got big legs. And people in the gym are not looking at you and they're not cheering you on in their head thinking like, oh, how much weight this guy's lifting, or laughing at you thinking like, how light of weight are you lifting? Now, obviously, if you're lifting a spectacular amount of weight or if you're lifting super light and you look super jacked, people might look at you, but honestly, they're not thinking as much about you as you think they are. And if they are, then they're just weird and they're just kind of a loser and they should just focus on their own grind and stop looking at you. So that's none of your worries, right? So just move on. It does not matter, guys. All right. And like I said before, this whole training split is really to prioritize recovery because, guys, you need to stimulate, not annihilate your muscles. And then in order to get bigger muscles, you actually need to recover. Now, people go like, oh, recovery is where you build muscle. Yeah, but if you just spend the whole time recovering, that's called being lazy. You still need to go to the gym and you still need to work out, but you do need to recover. I used to train muscles when they were sore. I do not do that anymore. That is not recommended, guys. And obviously, like, we're going to talk about other exercises that you need to build into this routine, but you don't want to add too much volume. Now, you are only lifting like that type of muscle group once a week, but you still don't want to do too much because you still want to just focus on PRing on that main exercise, and just keeping strength high. And yeah, you just don't want to do too much, guys. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to go and fry yourself because you also don't want to get injured. And you just want to, like, yeah, you just want to not do too much. Don't think that just because you have 6 days to recover that muscle group that you can just do a ton of stuff, because all that extra work is not doing anything and it's just breaking down your muscle too much, and there's too much to recover. Because when you look at the rest of the workout split, like, your body has to like partition out resources to other areas. So like eventually other areas are going to be broken down that need to recover. And if something's too far dug into a hole, if you dug yourself a hole that's too deep, it's going to be hard climbing yourself out of it. So just keep in mind, if you stimulate enough and you allow yourself to fully recover, and also neurally you need to recover, then you can always continue to progress. And instead of pushing yourself too hard and then getting injured and having to pull back anyways because you're forced to, if you just pull back a little bit and take your time, you'll progress a lot faster in the long term. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for long-term results, the best results, and just being consistent. And we're looking to optimize things, right, guys? Because in the long run, you're going to make better results this way, and you want to stick with this for the long term anyways, so that you can be your absolute best and that you can also continue looking good. Because if you get in shape, you got to keep working out to stay in shape. All right, guys, small wins do add up. Now, this sounds really cheesy, but if you guys have read that book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, it is a funny thing that once you start grinding on something, especially when you're new at it and you don't have any results, you may be doing day after day the same thing and looking like almost like things haven't changed. And especially when you're dieting, a big part of change is that it gets worse before it gets better. But you get to a point that you hit a breakthrough, and then once you start to notice results, guys, the results start to flow. And you hit a point when you get very good at something that any small change is very noticeable. And it's going to seem like it just happens overnight, but it does not. Small things add up. So showing up is a huge part of succeeding. Now, you're not always going to do the same workouts, and this is where having variety in is such a massive plus, and not being such a robot and thinking that you can't switch things around, because, guys, you can 100% switch things around. You can't do the same workouts, the same perfect plan, the same perfect mastermind plan all the time. You're going to need to switch things up. And like I said, that workout is better than no workout, because don't think that once you come up with a perfect workout plan that you should only do that for the rest of your life, because that is not the case. But you always want to circle back to your basics, the things that you're trying to track over time and progressively overload, and see how your strength has been on that. So if you did 2 weeks of, the mastermind plan, then you take a week or two off and switch things up, switch up the exercise order. So therefore you change your strength because you're pre-exhausting in a sense for that muscle group that you're trying to like work or that exercise. And then your strength's going to vary if you change the exercise order on different exercises. But then if you go back then after taking 2 variety days and you go back to your mastermind day, see where your strength is, because you're still giving high intensity on those other workouts and you're still working out, you're still showing up. So you should be stronger when you go back to the mastermind plan. As long as it's not a bad day, because sometimes we have bad days and it falsely tells us that we got weaker, but it's not the case, because your progression isn't just a straight line, it's kind of jagged ups and downs. So you have good days and you have bad days, but as long as you're average, you're continually improving, that's the goal. So yeah guys, keep going, because you see yourself every day, so you almost don't notice the small changes until it all seems to add up and smack you at once, and you just notice like this massive change. But it did not happen overnight. It happened because you put in the work each and every day, and it adds up until you notice that big change. Your breakthrough is coming, guys. You don't know when it's coming or what it's even going to look like, but you have an idea of what it'll look like. But if you just fall in love with the process and you just stick on the grind, it will show up at some point and you will notice it. You will notice it. You got to have the vision that you can be this person, and then putting in the work, guys. Before you know it, you look at yourself and you'll be like, what the heck? I've never seen that muscle there before. But it was building slowly over time. You didn't just wake up and have it developed, but that's how it just works. You see yourself on a daily basis over and over. So you don't notice these little changes until they all add up to a massive change in the end. Just remember, have fun, guys. If you're feeling bored, you got to change things up, right? You got to step back. You got to stop being so serious. And you got to, don't get too crazy with this now, but any workout's better than no workout. Don't start tossing around the weights and having the crazy amount of like loose form and just being wackos in the gym. Don't get too crazy with that one, but any workout with good form, I should throw that in there, honestly, for you guys who take this a little too wild and a little too liberally. Any workout's better than no workout. Overanalyzing the perfect workout and not working out because you're too paralysis by analysis. Like you couldn't even get yourself off the couch, and instead you chose to sit in, and until you figure out the perfect routine, then you're going to do a workout. You got to get the perfect routine going. Well, you could have gotten some work and you would have been better off doing a less quote-unquote sciencey optimal workout. As long as you're being safe for the most part, you would have gotten way better results doing that, and doing that for say a year, than not actually going to the gym and working out and giving proper effort because you're too worried and paralyzed by analysis. So don't be that guy. Show up, guys. Give it your best day. Your workouts will change, man. Like I could even change up this whole workout split in a month. I could be like, you know what? I found something better. So don't overthink things, because things can change even when you think you have the perfect plan. And also, guys, this is also something that I've been thinking about recently. Like, don't let your day revolve around the gym. I used to be the guy where it's like on a gym day, it's like all I can think about. And it's like the amount of time that you spend before the gym, kind of getting prepared for the gym, the amount of time at the gym, then the time after the gym. It's almost like it's like a 3-hour escapade. Like, guys, you don't need to do that. You got to just get in the gym. Like, even if you're hitting heavy weights and you're PRing, like, just get to it. Get to the gym, get in, and get out. Like, don't make this big whole thing revolve. Like, your life doesn't revolve around the gym the day that you work out. You get your stuff, you get your butt to the gym, you work hard, you take the amount of proper rest times. If you have friends in the gym and you want to like chat, like, don't get too serious. Like, you can chat with them in between sets when you're resting and like have fun. You're there to also have fun a little bit too. Work hard, but like, you can be social at the gym too. That's fine, guys. Like, don't let me tell you what to do, but like, at the end of the day, like, don't let your life, especially if you're trying to get in and out of the gym in like a decent amount of time, don't let yourself just be so caught up in like, oh my gosh, like today's a gym day. It's like all you do. It's like your whole evening or whatever time you train, it's like dedicated to the gym, when really it's like you just need to get like an hour workout in and get the best results. Like you don't need all the extra time, and literally you just need to get up, get to the gym, finish your workout and get out. Like, I don't know. At least it's something that I've changed, and I find like I can get so much done. Whereas I felt like after the gym, it's almost like you gotta like cool down after the workout. It's like, oh, I just put in all this work and now I like can't do anything for the rest of the night. And it's like, no, you come home, you get back to life, and you figure out, you gotta do some work. You gotta, if you're in school, you gotta study, you gotta do whatever, and get on with your day. Like see some friends, whatever. And like the gym is such a small part of your life. So this is what the actual like split looks like. Now I have 3 days of weights, and then the in between days are going to be either cardio or rest. Keeping in mind that I want one good cardio session a week where I'm elevating my heart rate. And now this is to actually improve your cardiovascular system, because people neglect their cardiovascular system way too much when they focus on hypertrophy and trying to get like the most muscle mass possible. Because you got to think of it, guys. If your cardiovascular system is good, that is your heart pumping blood throughout your body to one, get rid of waste, and two, oxygenating your blood, which then takes to your cells. And you need oxygen to create energy to then actually be able to push on a set. So if you have a better cardiovascular system, you can recover better in between workouts. You can recover better in between sets. You can recover better for a drop set. And you can actually, for something especially like legs and like a big back movement, you can actually hit muscular failure instead of your cardiovascular system being a limiting factor, and you saying, oh man, on the squat, like I do got a couple more reps, like my legs can handle a little bit more like intensity, and I got a little bit left more in the tank for my legs, but I can't catch my breath. My lungs are on fire and I have to stop the set because I'm out of breath, and not because I hit actual muscular failure. So you don't want to do that. You want to actually have a good cardiovascular system so you can actually get the best hypertrophy possible. Now, I want a good ab workout a week too. Sometimes I think the text is a little bit cut off there. Sometimes I do too, but the second one won't be as much volume and it won't really be to failure, because again, with the cardio and the abs and with the weights, I prioritize recovery. So you don't want to do too many hard cardio sessions, because that's going to start chipping into your leg day and start affecting your leg day and your strength on your leg movements. Too much cardio will also tax your entire system and make recovery for your other muscle groups harder. It'll make your body more worn down. You're not going to be able to actually have enough strength to progress in your other weight sessions. You're not going to be able to recover your legs to have good cardio sessions. It's going to catch up to you. You're going to get hurt. You're not going to make the progress that you want. So you still need to not do too many hard cardio sessions, but I can still technically do cardio 4 days a week, but the other sessions will be much lower intensity, and it'll just be like going out for a nice little walk. It doesn't even have to be at the gym. It could just be like with some friends, like out at the park with some family. It doesn't have to be associated with the gym. I have a spin bike here at my house, like one of those like gear bikes or whatever, like the ones that you twist to put the levels. But actually mine has like an electronic thing where you increase the level with a screen, but it's kind of like those ones with the gears that you shift. So I can do that. I can go for a walk, like I said, like anything, right? Just low intensity. And the other thing is, make sure you train your abs, because your abs are a muscle group, guys, and just like any other muscle group, they do need to recover. So again, you don't want to do too many sessions. People who say they train their abs every day, I think they're kind of crazy. And one, I actually think they're lying, because you can't train any muscle group every single day. You're not going to make the best results possible. Now, maybe if you lower your volume quite a bit, then maybe you could train it every day, because I don't want to say never, because there's always anomalies out there that can do stuff that we can't do. But it's probably just not for the average person recommended to train abs every day, because just because you train something every day, like, it doesn't give you better results, guys. Because like, then where would the ceiling be if you could just train everything every day? Like, if you wanted to make improvements, it would just be the guy that's in the gym every day for 7 hours straight would be the biggest guy in the gym. That's not how this works. There is a point of no return. There's a point of diminishing returns. So you don't want to do too much that your body can actually handle. So with that said, your abs can recover pretty quickly generally. So sometimes you can get a second ab workout in there, but don't do as much volume don't go as much to failure. And keep in mind, your abs are used to stabilize your entire body for like big days like back day and leg day. So if you're doing too much abs, like they're already getting indirectly stimulated through these other days, so you're going to start to take away from these days. Like everything kind of adds up, guys. Like you're going to start to take away from your leg strength because your abs are tired and you're not able to stabilize your body as well. You're not going to be able to push as hard on some rows because your abs are tired and they're not able to stabilize your body as much. Guys, the series continues. I'm going to actually go in for the next 3 videos and cover more specifically the exercises. But again, keep in mind, I have the main exercises that I focus on, and then I just change things up every once in a while because you can't do the same things over and over. And keep in mind, your strength's going to vary if you start changing up the exercise order. Like if you're typically doing the exercises that you're tracking to make progressive overload as the first exercise, and you do it second or third, you're not going to be as strong on it, but you could still be stronger than your previous self. But since you kind of pre-exhausted your muscles, you're not going to be as strong on that movement. But then when you go back to the typical exercise order, you can test to see if your strength is improved. Because like I said, again, have fun with it, change things up. You can't do the same thing over and over, but as long as you're getting stronger over time, that's what matters. And whenever I change things up, the form stays the same. I'm typically shooting for that top set, still the same. But even that can change a little bit, and the rep range can change a little bit. Sometimes for certain exercises, I might want to hit 15 reps, 20 reps, whatever. But I'm still, the core of it is I'm still focusing on proper technique, and I'm still focusing on training hard and pushing myself hard. And even if I don't want to go to failure that day because I'm trying to like quote unquote deload, I'm still pushing myself. I'm still in the gym working out, and I'm still making results, and I'm still forming a better version of myself than I was yesterday and last week. And that's really what's important. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you're looking forward to the series. Stay tuned for the other 3 videos, and I hope you guys learned something. I hope this benefits you guys. I hope it adds value to your life, and I hope that you learn something and you give this series or like you give this workout split a try. Or if you don't give the whole thing a try, like take components from it that work from you and add it into your current split. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the videos to come. Take care. Peace out.